sitting there doing my formula, the golden formula, and I was going to offer him $125,000. And for some reason, I was prompted to just say, well, what do you want for the house? And so I asked him the question, and he said, 95. And I went, I think I can do that.
Without Fear of Her Future podcast is for women who are passionately pursuing financial freedom, using multiple streams of income and real estate to accomplish their goals. We are here to empower you to be brave, dream big, and design a life that you love that inspires others to do the same. I'm your co-host, Andrea Engstrom, a real estate investor and business coach and co-founder of the Partnership for Realtors. And I'm here with my co-host, Tresa Todd, founder of the Women's Real Estate Investors Network and author of the best-selling book, Without Fear of Her Future. Over the past 2 years, Tresa has had nearly 200,000 join her Masterclass, where she teaches women how to become successful real estate investors. Hey, Tresa.
Hey, Andrea. So excited about today's guest. I know I say that every week, but we truly have the best guest. The best guest. And today is no different. Wendy Rhodes has an amazing story that I cannot wait for our listeners to learn all of the details. So she had tried and tested a multitude of marketing strategies, has had enormous success flipping homes. She's now expanded her portfolio to include short-term rentals and traditional rentals. In under 2 years, she flipped over 10 properties. That's crazy. Awesome. One of them earning her a whopping $70,000. She did that with a $700 mailer campaign.
I love it.
I can't wait to hear how she did it.
All right. Welcome, Wendy.
Hi.
Hey.
Wendy, your story is incredible. I cannot wait for our listeners. We're so glad you're here to share. So the first thing, will you just share with us a little where you're from and where are you primarily investing?
Sure. Well, thank you for having me. First of all, it's an honor to be here. And I live in Kinston, North Carolina. So I'm about an hour from the coast of North Carolina, and my town is pretty small. We have a population of about 24,000 in the town. Our counties, we're pretty rural. So I focus on purchasing properties in the small towns around me. We have a lot of military bases around us and also a big university about 45 minutes away. So I just have a big circle, about an hour circumference from where I live, and that's where I focus on my marketing.
I love it.
I'm so excited about this, Wendy, because there's so many women that I talk to that are considering joining the Women's Real Estate Investors Network, and they say, they say, I don't have a lot of population around me. This won't work for me. And so you're proof that this can be done, and you're doing it in a rural area. So this is brilliant. I'm so glad to have you today.
Absolutely.
I am too. I want to know a little bit, what did your life look like before you became a real estate investor? What was your career, and when did you start investing in real estate?
Well, I've always had an interest in real estate, but I was always told, oh, that's not going to work. And, and don't pursue that. It's just not, you'll never make it. So I didn't.
Yep.
So what I did do is I own a Liberty Tax franchise. We have 2 locations. I've owned that since 2007. So I've always had that entrepreneur spirit. And I also worked full time in a corporate job.
Wow.
I was the executive vice president's administrative assistant. And so very stressful, very high level, up with the president and the CEO, COO of the company, working with them. So it could be very stressful.
Mm-hmm. Well, tell us what made you decide to make a life change and become a real estate investor. And you just added investing to that, right? You didn't quit those jobs right away. Like, you added another layer of awesome to your life, right?
Or crazy, whatever
Yeah.
you call it. So, like so many other people, I saw the ad on Facebook and I thought, you know what, maybe it's time, because I wanted to leave a legacy for my family, and build a retirement nest egg for myself so I could leave the corporate America sooner than having to wait until I'm retirement age and all of that. So that was my goal, was to start building some wealth and a legacy for my family.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Well, tell us about what you've done in real estate over the past year or so since you joined the mentorship with Tresa. Like, what kind of deals have you been doing?
Okay. I went through the Masterclass in March of 2021. So right out of the gate, after I joined the mentorship, within the first month, I found a wholesale deal that I purchased on Facebook Marketplace. And I went and bought that property. And as soon as I signed the paper, I was sick to my stomach, thinking, "Oh my gosh, what have I done?" And and so anyway, we went in and renovated the house, and we didn't make a lot of money on that first flip, but you know what? It was enough to build my confidence to
Yeah.
take the next step and keep on going from there. So I've flipped I'm working on my 10th property now that
Yep.
flipped, and I've bought a couple of long-term rentals as well. And as far as marketing, I've done several different things, and everything seemed to work so far. So if you want to talk about that, we'll be glad to talk about it.
Yeah. Tell us how you found your deals.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first one, like I said, I found it on Facebook Marketplace. The second one, I know it's not recommended. It was a VA foreclosure off the MLS, but I haven't done that since. So because it's hard to find good deals on the MLS. And the third one, on the way, the first one, I kept driving by this house, and it looked empty and it just looked dark. And so I finally just started doing some digging. So turned out that the house was about to go into foreclosure.
Wow.
And we were able to do a short sale on that one. So that was like a driving for dollars.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started mailing out some postcards. So during COVID, I was able to work from home, and so I could answer the phone. And so I mailed out postcards, and people started calling me so I could answer the phone. And that's where I got several deals out of that. And then once I had to go back into the office, I wasn't available to answer the phone anymore. So I had to shift and pivot over to cold calling. So I had a VA start doing some cold calling for me. I got a couple of deals out of that as well. And then we've done some text messaging as well. So I've gotten deals from every method that I've tried. So the best thing is just stick to it. Something's going to stick.
Yeah, I just want to take a minute to talk about that, because it's so true. Marketing works. Marketing works. If you will just be consistent with it, it's really, here's the deal. It doesn't matter how small your city is, how large your city is. There are people with problems in every city in America. And as problem solvers, as real estate investors, it's our job to go out there and find those people that are in a situation where we can offer a solution. And that's what marketing is reaching out to those people and letting them know, hey, there's a way out of the mess that you're in. And so, I preach all the time, market. And most of the time when somebody's struggling and they're like, well, I just don't know if it works, or I can't find a deal, I will go, well, tell me about your marketing. I was like, well, I'm not really doing any marketing. I'm like, I always say you're not even a real estate investor until you start marketing. That's what makes you a real estate investor. And so this is just proof, and I love it. And I want our listeners to hear, don't be afraid. Another phrase that you hear us saying all the time in this industry is, it's not what it costs you, it's what it makes you. It costs money to market, but the amount of money that it can make you is astounding. And Wendy is just proof of that. So I love it. There's not a magic marketing technique.
Mm-hmm.
It's just being consistent with any marketing. And Wendy's just said that. She's been successful in every form of marketing. So, but I do want you to talk about the $700 marketing campaign that led you to the $70,000 profit.
Absolutely. So that one actually did come from the postcard campaign. And I market to tired landlords. And so this particular seller had moved 4 hours away. He's now living in Charlotte. And he had been renting out his house that he had when he lived in my town. And he was just tired of dealing with it, just tired of messing with it, the long distance landlord thing. And so when he called me and we had a conversation about it, and we were able to work something out. And I'm sitting there doing my formula, the golden formula, and all, and I had this figure in my mind what I was going to offer. And I don't know what prompted me this time, but I said, well, what, I was going to offer him $125,000. And for some reason, I was prompted to just say, well, what do you want for the house? And so I asked him the question, and he said, 95. And I went, I think I can do that.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Okay, I just got to stop you right there. I got to stop you because this is such a learning moment and a teaching moment. Yeah. That is priceless. And I always ask that question before I make my offer. I always say, what are you thinking about? What kind of number are you looking at? Or what are you thinking? That's a great question because I can't tell you how many times somebody has said a number that was so much lower. And that's how you end up getting a 50-cent deal or a 60-cent deal or something like that. So that is brilliant. I love it. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but it was too good not to dive into it a little bit deeper.
So we ended up, we asked the tenant to leave, and so she finally moved out. So it took us a couple of months to get up and going on the renovations. The renovations took us about 3 months because it wasn't bad. It was a really nice house. It was about 2,400 square feet in a really nice neighborhood. And but I upgraded a lot of things. It was just really, really dated. So we went in, and it was mainly the bathrooms, and I didn't have to do a lot to the kitchen, mostly paint, flooring, and just bathroom upgrades. And so, but I ended up spending, I would say around $60,000 on the renovation. And then we ended up listing it for $248. It hit the market, and this was when it was crazy. That hit the market in 5 hours. We had an over asking price offer, and we took it and netted $70,000 on that deal. So
my gosh.
It was awesome.
Yeah. What a home run. Love it.
Fantastic.
Congratulations. $700 on marketing. It's not what it costs you. It's what it makes you.
Absolutely.
Well, Wendy, one of those objections that people have about marketing in rural areas or in small towns is that they're like, well, I pull the list of people going through foreclosure and there's 4 people on the list. How do I? And so I would love if you would dig in a little bit more on some of the marketing that you did. You said the postcard campaign that generated that lead was to tired landlords. What are the other types of lists that you market to?
That is mostly what I focus on.
Wow.
And so no matter which area that I've been marketing in, I've been focusing on the tired landlords, the vacant properties, that kind of thing. Because I can ride down the road and there's just vacant houses all around. And, that may not be across America, but in where I live, it is. And so, and some of them are not the best houses, and some of them are really nice houses, and you'd be surprised. So that's why I've just stuck with that, because it's just worked so well for me. So why change up?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I love that as well. That's usually how I market. If something's working, I just stay with it until it's not working any longer. And that's when you change it. Love it.
So when you are marketing to tired landlords, like you're in a smaller community and there's less, individuals to market to, but there's probably also less competition because you're not in a major metro where all these investors are flocking. Are you finding that there's a lot of people in your area that are doing what you're doing, or are you in the right place at the right time?
Well, it might be some of both. It might have started out being right place, right time, but I mean, over the last year, the area's kind of been flooded, mostly with wholesalers. But still, we're kind of tripping over each other a little bit, but they're trying to learn things on YouTube and things of that nature. So my specialized knowledge really gives me an advantage on being able to talk to these tired sellers and tired landlords and have an intelligent conversation and be able to go in and estimate the repairs and make them a good solid offer without trying to beat them up so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, love it.
I love it. Well, okay. So tell us about how you fund your deals, because you are flipping houses and you're holding on to long-term rentals. So you must have started with a big pile of money, right, Wendy? Is that right?
Yes, I really did. No, I did not. I did have access to a line of credit though. So for that very first house, I utilized that line of credit and basically paid cash for the house using the line of credit. It wasn't my money. So I was able to fund it completely with that. And then from there, I've used private money lenders out of the network. And I have also used hard money lenders. So I've used some of both. And I've even used our local bank the traditional way. So there's the money's out there.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I want to stop and talk about this because I know that it's a little more difficult in rural areas to get hard money lending. They typically would prefer to lend into, the bigger areas. So, but you're saying so first of all, that doesn't stop us because we use private money if we can't find a hard money lender. And that's what is so beautiful about the Women's Real Estate Investors Network is that there are other women in the network that are willing to fund those deals. But I love that you said you have used a few hard money lenders. So you have found a few that are loaning even in your rural area.
Yes. Typically the houses that I buy have been in the city limits so far. So I guess they don't consider that rural rural enough that they haven't done the deal.
The population was?
In my town, about 24,000.
Yeah, that's usually considered rural. They usually want over 100,000 before they start lending. So you have found a great company. And this is an amazing conversation for our listeners, especially for newbies, because you're killing every objection, every single thing that people are like, well, I can't do it because of competition, or I can't do it because I'm in a rural area, or I don't have money, or I mean, all of the things you have just proven that, it's a mindset. When you decide that you are going to be a successful real estate investor and you're willing to do the marketing and go out there and do the things, the deals will come. And then when the deals come, this is what I always say, just start with the marketing. You don't even have to know the next step, because once you get something under contract, you're going to figure out that next step. You're going to figure out how to get that money. You're going to figure out how all of the things. And this is just a very, very great conversation. And I'm so excited that all of our listeners are getting to learn from you, Wendy. You've done everything right. What an amazing student. I love a coachable student who is willing to take action and to do all the things.
Yeah. Well, Wendy, you mentioned earlier about the specialized knowledge, and you feel like that gives you an edge over competition. So talk to us about how has being a part of the Women's Real Estate Investors Network really, and that mentorship, been helpful to you as you got started as an investor?
Sure. Like I said, I had a little bit of interest in real estate all along, and then my ex-husband and I, we actually flipped a house that went into foreclosure across the road from us. But we did everything wrong. We went in and put high finishes in everything, and so it wasn't a really good experience, to be honest with you. It was okay. It got really stressful. And so we ended up selling it for less than what we should have. And, we just messed it all up. And then I had a friend who's a general contractor. And so that's what he was doing, flipping houses. And new builds and that kind of thing. So I got a taste of it there. And so I'm like, I think I can do this. I really think I can do this. But what I didn't know is how to find the houses, how to fund the houses. And then from there, once I got that through the mentorship, and you put all the pieces of the puzzle together for me, that's when I was able to kind of take it and run. Because I know a lot of people are very intimidated with starting off flipping houses. For me, that was a comfort zone. And so that's where I started. So you just find your comfort zone and go with it.
Yep.
And that was what worked for me. And so, once I had that, okay, this is how you do it plan, then I went and executed and haven't looked back. So.
Yeah. Tresa, did you hear that? She just gave another objection that people have. She said, I tried it before. I did everything wrong. It didn't work. And so many people will stop right there, and they won't go and get the specialized knowledge. They won't do the work to make it work better the next time. They just go, well, I tried that. It didn't work for me. I'm done.
Yep.
And so good for you, Wendy, because you just dusted yourself off and said, what do I need to know to make it happen this time?
That's right.
I love it. You're amazing.
Yes.
So go ahead.
I just want to ask the question. So, okay, you started out, you added real estate investing, you already own another company, and you had a full-time job. So have you been able to quit your day job?
I did leave my day job. I left corporate America in May of this year.
Congratulations.
And so, that was the most liberating and scary thing at the same time. But it has just been so wonderful. I'm able to spend more time with my family, especially my little grandson who's 4. And I just enjoy traveling and just getting together with other like-minded women and us talking about, because my friends, they don't want to talk real estate. They want to talk other stuff. And so I like to talk real estate. So it's good finding real estate investors that I can talk to, and we can talk shop. And it's just really fun. And I'm just really enjoying life now.
Oh, wow. Well, congratulations. That is huge that you were able to walk away from that, doing something that you obviously are really enjoying and that you're good at. So what an amazing story.
Yeah. So Wendy, what advice would you give someone who says, I want her life. I want to quit my day job and become a full-time real estate investor? What advice do you have for women like that?
Well, it's absolutely doable. Absolutely. I would recommend that you definitely plan for success, and plan out what it looks like to, once you do walk away from that job, what are your expenses? What kind of income do you need? How are you going to replace that income? Have some money in reserves, because, surprises always happen, and it's better to be surprised by not needing it than needing it and not having it. So, and also, just pray and ask the Lord for guidance on when is the right time for you to step out and take your territory.
Ooh, I like that. Take your territory.
I do too.
That's good. So you've done some awesome things. Wendy, what are your goals for the future?
Oh, wow. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. I do plan to, my goal is to buy a flip house, buy a long-term rental, buy a flip house, buy a long-term rental. That's the plan, to just continue to add to my portfolio and build my passive income while I'm continuing to build my pot of money.
Yes.
Her pot of money. I love it.
And I love how confidently you said, build my portfolio.
Yeah.
Like, that was great.
Yes.
So good. Well, Wendy, we like to ask our guests for 3 takeaways. So what are the 3 things that you would advise an investor or entrepreneur who's looking to be brave and grow, or is perhaps feeling stuck where they are?
Take a step of faith. Step out and find out, and you'll be surprised where you can land. And just do it. Is the biggest thing. Is one thing. Utilize this network. If you're not part of the network, seriously consider joining the network, because the wealth of knowledge here, not from just Tresa and the coaches, but also the other sisters inside the group.
Yes.
I mean, we have other groups, smaller pods of people that we get together and we talk and we brainstorm and just feed off of each other. And that is so, so valuable. And so that camaraderie and the sharing of what we do and how we do it and how to help each other. So, and then I think the last thing I would say is just trust the process. When you join the mentorship, just go through the steps, go through the checklist, watch the videos, watch the training, get on the calls, do the things, just do all the things. And I know it can be overwhelming in the beginning, but if you'll just step back, take a breath, and go back at it, and just be consistent, you'll get it. And it's just like anything you've done for the first time, like riding that bicycle. The first time you're not going to get it right off out of the gate. So you just need to keep getting up and getting on that bike and going again. And that's what you do with this. You just keep going back to the training. And if there's something you don't understand, reach out and ask for help. There's people here willing and able to help you. You just have to ask.
Woo! Way to go, Wendy. That's great advice. And again, I just want to say congrats to you. So proud of you.
Thank you.
You're killing it. Keep doing it, girl.
Wendy, as you were sharing those pieces of advice, I was thinking about how we all choose our hard thing that we're willing to do, right? And some of us, we look at what you've done, Wendy, and some people will look at that and say, that sounds too hard. But then you go, okay, well, how about working another 20 years as a corporate executive assistant in a high stress situation? How's that for hard?
Yeah.
Right. And so in just a year and a half here, you've been able to, completely take control of your future and be able to create such an amazing start to your investing, and you're just getting started. And that's like the really cool part. I love your goal for one flip, one long-term hold, one flip, one long-term hold, and you're building your portfolio. But that little bit of overwhelm that happens in the beginning is so worth it to just work through it and have the support around you and push through, because working for the next 20 years in a corporate gig is, I think, way harder than spending a year learning what you need to know and becoming who you need to be so you can do what it takes to have what you want to have. And you are proof. So it's amazing.
This whole thing is about women living without fear of her future. And Wendy is doing that. So way to go.
Love it. Well, Wendy, thank you so much for joining us today. We are so thrilled to share your story.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. On behalf of the Women's Real Estate Investors Network and Tresa Todd, I'm Andrea Engstrom, encouraging you to be brave and dream big.